Hey guys, and welcome to Car Guy 1999 Reviews. Today, courtesy of Infinity of Nashua, we have the 2022 Mazda 3 Turbo. Turbo provides 227 horsepower in the real big figure, 310 pound-feet of torque at 2,000 RPM. So it's almost diesel-like with the amount of torque this engine has. Absolutely adore this car. It is just showing the direction Mazda's going now, and I cannot be happier with how this car is performing. Great amount of space. You can get these in sedans and hatch. This is obviously not the sedan, this is the hatch. Plenty of room in the trunk with a mini spare jack, everything like that. Very, very kind of a slope back design, yet still you do have a good amount of room in the back seat for the segment sitting behind myself. You have cup holders. That's somewhere I would want to be for hours and hours and hours, but with the indent in the back of the seat, I can definitely make it work. I mean, I'm 5'9.5", 5'10", so it's really not designed for me. The only thing is getting in and out, you might hit your head a little bit, but it's actually not half bad. Let's take a look at that 2.5 turbo. There it is back there. But you can tell not a lot of room to work around in here. It's definitely pretty jam-packed. But it's just such a gorgeous design. Definitely my favorite in the segment. It is so freaking humid out here. It feels like Orlando. All right. And then you step into this interior and see where this is just miles better than the previous gen. I mean, such an elegant design for a car that's in the mid-30s, brand new. Sorry, I'm putting the fan up a little bit. It is freaking awful out today. For something that's in the mid-30s, this is a really nice interior. I mean, you start poking around, you'll see some touch points of plastic and cheap headliner, but everything you will touch on a day-to-day basis is awesome to the touch. This steering wheel feels amazing. You know, all the volume knobs, climate control knobs, everything like that, even these controls here, they might be plastic, but they have a metal feel to them. It's just, you know, your armrest, all these touch points are soft touch, especially right here with the stitching that is real. It is just really, really impressive. Something pretty unique is this center console. You can slide it back to here, one more, and then up here you cannot open it, but you slide it back one, you can open it from there. You slide it back a little bit more, you can open it from there. You do have this little center divider that can kind of move your phone and storage around. Looks like a SD card slot, probably for navigation. 2 USB ports, 12-volt car outlet. So good amount of storage in there, tons of storage here. Good old glove box with actually a good amount of room in there. K&N air filter? They use K&N for cabin air filters? Look at that. That's actually probably the first time I've seen that. A lot of manufacturers might do that. Now, in terms of the Mazda 3 Turbo, I think a lot of people were like, oh, this is the Mazda Speed 3. It's not that. So then people are like, well, what is it? It kind of depends on what you looked at the Mazda Speed 3 as. If you are looking at a pure driver-focused version of this car, you're there, but it's not really that. If you looked at the Mazda Speed 3 as the more powerful Mazda 3, that's what this is. It kind of really depends. I don't really compare it to a Mazda Speed 3, but I think this is as close as we're going to get, and I'm perfectly happy with that. I think that if I were to buy one, this is 100% the way I'd go. My brother owns a NA version, the base 2.5. It does feel a little underpowered. This is perfect. This drives and feels like a $50,000 car until you start poking around at overall materials. Mazda did a really, really good job with this car, as well as how this thing drives, power delivery, everything like that is very, very good. I mean, you are all-wheel drive. It's definitely a front bias system, that's for sure. But for New England, this thing is gonna get its way through winter, no problem at all. Pop it into sport mode. Brake pedal feel very progressive. And I'm not talking about its viewpoints. I'm talking about how the pedal feels. Now, indicated red line is like 6250. The red line really is like 5500. Once, if you were to take it into manual mode and try to rev it to 6250, it falls on its face after 5500. It almost takes the turbo, I think it actually does take the turbo off boost for the last few RPM. Which really kind of embraces the diesel-ness of this, except in the way of sound. This doesn't sound like a diesel, so take all the aspects that are really good about a diesel and take away all the bad, and that's what this engine is. I mean, 310 pound-feet of torque is a big number for this segment. And I really think this is kind of in a class of its own, you know, because you have, let's say, the Kia Forte GT. That's a driver-focused version. This is kind of just take everything about the Mazda 3 and put a bigger engine in it. It's not any more driver-focused than the base version, but the whole package itself is driver-focused more so than any other car in the segment for a base variant. So it's really kind of an in-betweener. But because of that, on the road, this is my pick out of the segment. I love the Veloster N. I love the Elantra N. Those don't really compete with this. The Elantra Sport, the Kia Forte GT, those compete with this. This is a better car than those, hands down. It's punching way above its price bracket in terms of interior quality, while also being one of the best to drive. Out of all of those cars, this is the one I'd spend time with. This is the one that if you threw me the keys to all the mid-size small, mid-sized cars, this is the one that I'd want to take home. It's just the best out of everything. Now, if you really want to talk price point, you could probably get a GR Corolla for sticker at this price point. You know, you can really start saying, oh, there's cars I'd rather get for the money, whatever. But if you're talking about for the price point, for the best all-around package deal, this Mazda 3 Turbo is it. There's not a doubt in my mind that this is the best one. It comes to the luxurious feel inside, the power delivery, the driving experience. Everything about this car makes it the best. You know, and whenever somebody asks me, oh, what do you like for smaller cars? Mazda 3. Done. End all be all. That's where it's at. Especially this new generation. And yes, while I wish there were a manual version, I think if this was a manual, everybody would say this is the modern day Mazda 3. I mean, I just think, you know what, the segment's moved on from that. I know we have the Civic Type R, and Mazda can probably do that. Mazda's going a completely different direction than they were, while still harking back to their roots a little bit. Mazda's trying to be a luxury experience at a cheaper price point, and I love that about it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. If you made it this far, say chicken noodle soup in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.